Picking out a civilization in Rise of Kingdoms is extremely important. Whether you are creating an account, you're wanting to grow your account, whether you're going to be using an account to farm for resources, whether you're going to be using an account to fight, to field fight, which troop type is best. Also with rally and garrisons, picking a civilization is extremely important. So this video is going to tell you exactly what to use depending on where you're at in the game, and we'll help you get it figured out. Hey everybody, I'm Roy War Daddy Chadsky, and we do videos all the time. And putting out this content is always gratifying. It's always a lot of fun. And the community we've attained has continued to grow. We're pushing through over 40,000 subscribers now. And we just want to thank the community. And we love doing these videos to kind of help players. And this is one of those situations to where I was getting hit a lot of times in Discord. I was getting hit up with like, hey Chadsky, what civilization am I supposed to be using here? And speaking of my Discord, if you want to join that Discord, the link is in the description. You can ask these kind of questions. It's where a lot of my videos come from. It's where a lot of this content comes from. So we want to put together something when it comes to civilizations. We can go through each one of these civilizations and talk to you about what they're good for. And we can help you as you just start out the game, as you're advancing your account, as you're doing different things within the game, how you fight, if you're going to rally your garrison, if you're creating farm accounts, and we can go through it all. So let's do that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a real quick tier list. Okay, this is really easy. So at the very top of this tier list, this is what's really important. I have a start game civilization. Like to start out the game, this is what you're going to look to do when you start out the game. There are 3 specific civilizations that are very important when you start the game. Okay, number 1 is China. All right, China, the first and foremost, Sun Tzu is the commander you get. He's exceptional in the early game. He's like the best K1 commander that's an epic commander in the game. And so when it comes down to that, you're going to want to get him. But at the same time, there's 2 main reasons why. You have a building speed up of 5%. Okay, that is very important because so much of your speed ups and so much of your time early in the game is building your structures, is upgrading all of your structures, your barracks, all your resources, your hospital, your town hall, everything that you've got to go build and you've got to speed up. This saves you so much time when you're able to use China. It's one of the best ones to use. Okay, another one that is really good is Korea. Now Korea's gets a little bit more advanced when you really start working on your research with your academy. It's very important. That's the only reason why a lot of people like to use Korea is because of that research speed. So you've built all your buildings. Now you're really working on your tech. You're trying to get to T3s, T4s, T5s. This research speed really helps with Korea. And then I also throw in Spain. Okay, so Spain is really good for the experience you get from barbarians and neutral units. This is very important because as you're continuing to develop commanders, you want to gain that experience as best as possible. And the resource production is also really good of 20%. That's within your own city. And that's kind of how that works, to where you get some extra resource production. So this is really good as we level up commanders. So when we look at this overall, hold on, let me put this up here. We are going to put China at the start, Korea, and Spain. These are like the best 2 to work on. Okay, so that's at the start of the game. Okay, now another one that people get into when they're going to play the game is their fielding. This is their field fighting. All right, this is very important that people have to understand with field fighting. There are 3 main civilizations I love when you're exclusively field fighting. All right, doesn't mean you're rallying or garrisoning. It doesn't mean you're doing anything else for any specific troop type other than field fighting. It's Ottoman, it's France, and it's Rome, but Rome is a little bit special. We'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, the first and foremost, when you talk about Ottoman is like the best field fighting civilization, and it's like not even close. Okay, and the reason why is because no matter how many smite commanders you run or combo commanders you run, you still run skill damage commanders, whether it's Huo, whether it's Joan, whether it's Ragnar CPO, your archers, you're running skill damage commanders. And first and foremost, this gives you an increase in archer health by 5%. Okay, and it doesn't even matter if you're just running one archer march. The main thing, and this is where the attributes really kick in, your troop march speed, that's all your troop type march speed is 5%. That is great in the field. That is awesome. And then your skill damage is increased by 5%. Okay, so those skill damage commanders that you run will be really, really good. The special unit type, as you can see here, is the Janissary, and it is really, really good. It's got a lot of attack, and it's got a little bit more health than just the normal T5 unit. And regardless of if you're running archers, or you're running 2 or 3 archer marches, or just one, this is one of the most potent field civilizations there is. The second one that I absolutely love, because I was always more of an infantry player, is France. France has a blanket troop health, not an infantry health, but a troop health at 3%. That's fantastic. That is really, really good in the field, because no matter what troop type you run, you get that extra benefit of 3%. It's got a wood gathering speed of 10%. I don't really care about that. Here's the other part. Hospital healing speed by 20%. If you are fighting a lot in KVK, this is what I always tell players. If you have a ton of speed ups and you're not worried about your speed ups when you're fighting in KVK, go Ottoman. 100%. If you are worried about your speed ups, if you're only sitting on 500 days of speed ups or 700 days of speed ups, and you're a little bit worried about how many speed ups you're going to use France. Okay, you're going to get the benefit of the troop health for all troops, and then the healing speeds, because over time during a KVK, this will pay back in droves. It's really, really good on the healing speeds when it comes to France. Now, the other one I like is, this is more for you pure infantry players, is Rome. Okay, Rome I really, really enjoy because it increases the infantry defense by 5%. So if you're running 2 or 3 infantry marches, especially in K2, K3, and getting into SOC, you get the troop march speed just like you do for Ottoman, and it's really, really good. And so that would be the other reason why, if you're really infantry heavy, if you're running 2 smite marches and you don't quite need the benefit of skill damage like Ottoman gives you, then you can run Rome and you can ratchet up that defense. Okay, so that's kind of your situation with Ottoman and France and Rome. Now, the other part about France that I really, really like is the throwing axeman. This is a special unit type that has a lot of health on its base stats. It's a lot of health. Okay, so if you think of France, you're thinking of all troop health benefit that you get. You think of the special unit type as a throwing axeman, ton of health over here, and it really, really helps, especially if you're on the infantry side of things. And then for Rome, obviously you've got your legionnaires, and when you run your legions, you run more defense than you do health, but it's really, really balanced and it's really, really good. So that's kind of your fielding prowess, if you will, when it comes to the civilizations you use for Rise of Kingdoms. Okay, so that's what we've got for fielding. Now for infantry specifically, okay, let's talk about infantry. Now this is when you're garrisoning infantry, or if you're really heavy with infantry. Vikings, fantastic. We talked about France. France is really, really good. Okay, and we also have situations, let me see here, where we can add Greece and Rome as well. I'm gonna add another Greece and another Rome for this particular tier list. And so let's just kind of use this. We'll have Greece up here, and then we'll also have Rome. Okay, so those are kind of your 4 infantry based civilizations. And for those of you who don't know about Vikings is a little bit more potent on the offensive. It's more aggressive. Okay, you have an infantry attack of 5%. Okay, so you're ramping up the attack. Now just remember, attack used to mean a lot of things with the old crystal tech, but now with the new crystal tech we see in the Heroic Anthem Remastered, attack is really, really good. And you also do counterattack damage of 3%. Okay, and so from that standpoint, it is really, really good for your marches. It's got a troop load benefit of 10%. That's more for like pillaging, right? When you're looting other cities, but it's got the special unit type of the Berserkers. The Berserkers are heavy on a little bit more health, really heavy on attack, and it works out really, really well. This is great for field. If you're a heavy infantry player, it's also great for your garrisons. Having the counterattack of 3% for your garrison is absolutely wonderful. The other one that we saw in here we talked about is France. We don't have to spend too much time on that, as we've already kind of gone through on France. You've got the health, you got the overall troop health, and all that stuff. Greece is another one that we like in the infantry side of things. Now, we're going to see Greece later on when we talk about rallies, but you do get an infantry health of 5%. That is really, really good. You got a rallied army damage by 5%. That is important. We'll talk about that later, but you can use Greece. A lot of infantry players who also play the high end, so they rally and garrison with infantry, they use Greece, because you can use Greece for a garrison, and you can use Greece for your field marches of infantry, and you're really going to get that 5% health benefit. Plus, you got the special unit type that's really, really good, and it specializes more in attack, and then it's got some defense to go along with it. So that works out really well for Greece. And so we talked about Rome. Rome, great for the field. It's great for your overall troop defense. We talked about the march speed is great for the field. And if you are garrisoning, you've got the Legionnaires. Like we talked about, Legionnaires, a lot of defense. So you're loading up a ton of defense with Rome, and you can use that easily for your garrison, and that works out okay. All right, so let's go to the next one. The next one, we're going to talk about cavalry. Okay, now cavalry is really, really important. If you're just more looking at this to field with cavalry, I'm not talking about rallying, but just to field with cavalry, you've got Byzantium and you've got Spain. Okay, now a lot of people don't use this, and you might want to just skip through this part of it. Byzantium gives a cav health, and it's really, really good. We'll go through this real quick. Byzantium gives an overall cav health by 5%. The stone gathering you really don't care about. It does have a hospital capacity. This is really good, because I'm a player that loves to run it down in the field, and I overflow my hospital at least once or twice every KVK, and it costs me deads, and I forget to heal. And so having extra capacity really helps. You can have the cataphract. Now, I am Arabia right now, so the Mamluks are what I'm using, and the elite Mamluks, compared to the cataphracts have a little bit more defense, a little bit less attack, a little bit less health. Okay, and so those are the special unit types you can use for Byzantium. And for Spain, the only reason why you would use Spain in the field, if you're a big time cav player, is for the 5% defense. Okay, that's the only reason why. Here's the difference in their special unit type. The health comes down, the attack goes way up. The conquistadors are massive attack, and so that's how Spain works out. So now, as we get into this, let's talk about the next group, which is your archers. Well, it's pretty easy on the archers, guys. You have Ottoman, and that's it. That's all you need. And let me tell you the reason why. Okay, when you think of running archers in the field, now let's just say you're fielding, you're using a lot of archers, and you want to kind of roll this thing. The reason why you use Ottoman is because every archer commander, except for Shajar and CY, every archer commander is a skill damage commander. Okay, so if you're running 3 or 4 archer marches in the field, this is ideal. Okay, you're going to get the march speed we talked about in the field. It's great for the garrisons, because a lot of garrisons, whether you're running Dido or anybody else, or let's say you're running CY with Hera. Hera does skill damage, but more importantly, you're getting the archer health of 5%. That's why this works. In the field, it's just a blanket. That's the only civilization you should think about running if you're running archers, and the Ottoman civilization really, really does it. Okay, and so we can move on now, because this is where it gets kind of interesting. We're talking about rallies. There are 3 rally civilizations. There's one for archers, there's one for cavalry, and there's one for infantry. Okay, so let's go through that just a little bit. That when you look at your archers, you have to look at Egypt. And the reason why is because every one of these rally civilizations give you an all damage bonus when you're running a rally. That is massive. That is like, you have to do that if you're a rally player. Okay, and then all of a sudden with Egypt, you do have 5% attack, and you get a little bit of building and research speed of 1.5%. Not really ideal. If you're in the early game, you're going to want to stick to China, or you're going to want to stick to Korea when you're ramping up all that stuff. But the main part is that rally damage. You look at the unit type. All right, their T5 unit type is heavy health on their base stats for archers, which is really, really good for archers. Okay, so the next one that we've got that we play around with here just a little bit is where's my guys Arabia. That's what I run. Okay, I run Arabia, same thing. We have cavalry attack of 5%, and then it's got a weird damage delta barbarians and other neutral sites of 10%. I love doing that for like cerulean stuff because I'm just doing extra damage. But the rallied army does 5% extra damage. And so as a rally commander or as a rally player that I am with cavalry, this is what I run. Okay, and I've got the special troop type that runs it. The Mamluks really ramp up the health. It's great. They are fantastic with their base stats, and that's how the cavalry's run. And so from there, we're going to talk about Greece. Okay, Greece is really good because not only is it a rally situation, but if you also garrison with infantry, you get that 5% health for the infantry troops, which is great. You have the rally damage bonus, which is really, really good. And we've gone through the special troop type for Greece. This is what you have to use when you are rallying infantry. Okay, and so we'll go on to the next one. The next round is training and off-season. This is what you have to understand with training and off-season as we look at this. When you train a lot in off-season or you want AP gen, Germany is like the best. I'm going to put Britain up here as well to kind of go through that, but Germany is the absolute best when it comes to training and off-season. Let me explain why. Number one, you get 5% training speed. So if you're training a lot in off season, or you're going to have a long off season, or you're a spender that's going to train a lot, you want to be Germany because that 5% training speed really, really helps you if you're going to go for Zenith, if you're going to go for pre-KVK rankings in the different training events that we have. It's also got an action point recovery of 10%. This is massive. When you're in off season, okay, you are recovering your action points nonstop. And by having Germany, you're able to recuperate that much, much quicker. It works out much better for you. And I'm always Germany because I train a ton. You know, those of us massive players always pick Germany. And then you recover your action point recovery by 10%. It's wonderful. It's like the best thing you could use in the offseason. You do have Britain as well. Okay, Britain does have a troop training speed of 5%. It doesn't have an action point recovery or anything. It does have a garrison capacity of 20%. People don't use that in KVK. Okay, it doesn't work like you think in KVK. So this is not something people really like to do in KVK. But in offseason, a lot of people will use Britain for the training speed increase that you get by 5%. All right, so now that we look at it a little bit further, we have one last one, and this is what we'll call our farming. Okay, I'll pull this down just a little bit, and we're going to put Japan, Maya, and Rome up here with farming. Okay, just so everybody kind of helps and understands. You have Japan, Maya, and Rome. All right, and here's why. All farms need to be either one of these three. Now, Japan, I love more than anything because it's just got a blanket 5% resource gathering speed. That's why all the farms use Japan. It's easy, it's simple. We don't have to think about it more than twice. And you can just go put that on all of your farms and do your gathering of 5%. Now you do have Maya, okay? Now this is where it gets interesting because if you have farms that are specific for gold gathering, you get a gold gathering speed of 10%. So that's one thing you might consider changing. Maybe have Japan for all your farms, and then your specific 2 or 3 farms that you're doing just gold, have the Mayan civilization. It works out really, really well because they give you a 10% bonus to gold gathering speed. Nobody else does this, and it's really important. And then you've got Rome, especially for you infantry players. Okay, you got food gathering speed of 10%. You infantry players who run infantry and cavalry, you gotta have food. You have to have food, and food is a massive resource production that you have to have. And so having Rome is completely acceptable for your farms that are specifically targeting food. So you can have farms that run food specifically, and you use Rome. You can have farms that run gold specifically, and you can use Maya. Okay, you can have farms that are doing wood specifically, and you can do France. But overall, I think it's just easy. Just have all your farms do 5% march speed. Use Japan. So you can do it any way you want, but this is just what I would recommend for all your farms, so you're not getting too confusing. But if you want to micromanage, you can do that as well. So with that being said, take a picture. This is kind of how it lays out for everybody. I kind of went through all this stuff and how it works. And any kind of questions that you have, be sure to put a a comment down below or go to my Discord. The Discord link is in the description. You can go to my Discord and ask about this, but we wanted to help new players. We wanted to help players who are advancing in the game, who are field fighting more, who are using different marches and different things. So we broke it down and went through it all together the best we could. So take a picture. This is what you use your civilizations for, and we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please throw a thumbs up, like the video, help us out, and if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. We're pushing through, like I said, 40,000 subscribers. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps out the channel when you guys when you guys hit that subscribe button and join the community and help us out. And with that being said, you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon, broskies.